Hello, whether you are watching live or whether you're catching the replay, I hope you are doing well, and I am excited to be back on LinkedIn Live doing these weekly sessions, sharing these health writing tips, particularly for healthcare providers, health professionals who are interested in using your clinical expertise and your health backgrounds to become health communicators, specifically health writers. If we have not had the good fortune of meeting yet, my name is Megan Freeland. I am a pharmacist by training, but the majority of my professional career has been spent in a variety of medical and health writing roles. So everywhere or everything from drug information to literature evaluation to health communications, and most recently, when I created my company Stock Rose Creative, to health content marketing. And so what I do in these weekly videos is I talk to fellow health professionals about health communications, but specifically about health content marketing, because that tends to be an area that we don't learn as much about unless we are actually in it. Even as a person whose entire professional background has been spent in medical writing and communications type roles, I wasn't even familiar with what the concept of, or not even concept, I wasn't even familiar with the fact that content marketing, health content marketing was a thing, let alone have a good understanding of what that was. So in these videos, I try to bring awareness to the field and also talk about certain aspects of it so that you all can have a better understanding, because I personally believe that more health professionals should be health writers, and specifically should be the people who are creating this amazing, engaging, accurate health content. And so I wanted to kick this next series of videos off by going back to the basics a little bit and providing some foundational grounding in the idea of health content marketing, so that you are clear when we do these next following videos, you have an understanding of like what it is we're really talking about. And there's one example that I think is really easy to understand and simple to digest. So I'm going to be sharing that with you in this video. So that should help you have a better understanding of what health content marketing is, why health companies are using it, and what the benefit of having health professionals in these types of roles, what that benefit is. So please remember, if you've joined this before, or if you're brand new to these sessions, remember that you can drop questions at any time. Even if you're not watching it live, feel free to leave a question and I'll get back to it as soon as I see it. And you can always shoot me a DM if you'd rather keep your question private as well. That's totally fine. For now, let's go ahead and jump into the meat of today, which is this foundational understanding of content marketing, right? So the question, the basic question of what is content marketing, actually, I think is best to take a step back from that and say not just what is content marketing, but what is content actually. That is a word that gets thrown around a lot these days. It's almost a buzzword of sorts. But I think the reason for that is because content is literally everywhere. So we're always talking about it because we're always interacting with it. We're always creating it. It's just always around. Content at its core is basically just information or an experience that is being shared with an audience. So when you log on to LinkedIn and you post an update or you share an article, that's content. When you are listening to a podcast episode while you are washing dishes or driving your kids to school, that is content. When you share a picture of your kids on Facebook for your family to see, that's content. When you read a newspaper, whether it's a physical newspaper, those do still exist, or whether it's a digital article or an online article, that's content. All of these things that we interact with on a regular basis are all forms of content. Content can be auditory, it can be visual, it can be video, it can be audio. It comes in different forms, in different formats, but the underlying point is that we're interacting with it all the time. And even as individuals, we are consistently and constantly interacting with and creating content. Now, as individuals, and let's pretend like, if you own a business for right now, just pretend like you don't own a business. Just pretend that you are representing yourself. When we are creating content as ourselves, we're not typically doing it with a business goal in mind, because again, we're representing ourselves as individuals, not as businesses. But the benefit of content for businesses is that content can be used for marketing purposes. And so that's when we start thinking about not just content, but content marketing. Content is not considered a part of content marketing unless there's a specific business goal attached to it. So in that case, what then is content marketing, and why do companies feel the need to use that specific type of marketing? What makes that so valuable for these companies, including health companies? So at its core, it's marketing. Content marketing is a type of marketing, and businesses need that in order to bring in leads, people who might become their customers or their clients or their patients. So there are different avenues for companies to engage in marketing, and one of those avenues is content marketing. So the way that content marketing works is that the business or the company is able to create and distribute or share content that is either really interesting or really informational and educational, or really entertaining. And that content is designed to inform, to educate, or entertain their prospects, the people who they want to become their customers or their patients or their clients. And by creating that content that is interesting to those prospects or informs those prospects or educates those prospects, the company is able to attract those people to their brand. And so one of the analogies that I like to use is, if you think about kind of two ways to kill a fly. There's a fly in your house, you need it to go away. One way is to go grab a fly swatter and you go on the offense and you go out and you try to attack this fly. You're not subtle about it, or, you maybe try to be sneaky and get by without the fly seeing you. But at the end of the day, the goal is for you to actively go out and kill that fly using your fly swatter. Another way to kill a fly is to attract it. So rather than attacking the fly, you try to attract the fly. So maybe you put out a jar of honey, or I don't know, whatever it is that flies like. Seems like they like all types of food, but you put out a jar of honey and you try to reel the fly in rather than going out and trying to attack the fly actively. That to me is how I think about content marketing. It's not like a commercial where someone is trying to sell you something. It's not like a radio ad where someone is trying to sell you something. It can be a blog post or a podcast episode, or an infographic or a video. There are all of these different ways to create content that draws people in and then kind of hooks them and makes them want to learn more about your brand, or to sign up for your email list, or to come in your office or your hospital. And so that is kind of the approach that content marketing takes. And that's why it's so much more effective, in my opinion. And I'm biased, right? Which is why content marketing is so much more effective than a lot of other forms of marketing, because it's a little more subtle and it is intended to draw people in rather than going on the offensive and kind of attacking them figuratively. So that is the way that I think of content marketing, as far as like a loose definition and an analogy that clarifies that. But I wanted to also share this example that I think in the healthcare field, everyone can really relate to and understand. Mayo Clinic, one of the most popular hospitals, health systems in the United States, has a reputation for having amazing health content. Whenever you Google a health question, chances are that Mayo Clinic is going to come up in some of the top search results for whatever that term is. And the reason for that is because they have developed an amazing and effective health content marketing strategy. So their database of content about medical conditions, symptoms, medications, that database is so robust because they have intentionally created it to inform on a very deep level so that anyone with any type of question about a medication, a medical problem, medical issue knows that they can go to Mayo Clinic for that information. One specific blog that they have is called Sharing, and I'm going to drop it in the comments here so that whether you're watching live or on the replay, you can click on it and you can see for yourself. Hopefully that came through. No, I don't want to do it that way. I don't know if this left as a comment, but you should be able to see it on the screen. And if you go to the Sharing blog on Mayo Clinic, you will see that this is a specific blog on the Mayo Clinic website where actual patients who have been seen at Mayo Clinic, received services at Mayo Clinic, are sharing their experiences. So they might be talking about their experience as a caregiver or of someone who has been at Mayo Clinic, or as the patient themselves, or as the provider of care at Mayo Clinic. But they're sharing very personal stories and personal experiences. And that blog is very informative and very helpful for people who might be considering Mayo Clinic, or people who might be wanting to learn more about treatment for a particular condition. And then so as these people come to the blog, if you notice on the right side of the page, there's a form there where they ask you to request an appointment if you're interested, right? So the idea is to bring people to this blog so that they can get this information. But at the end of the day, remember, with content marketing, you have to think about what is the business goal. The business goal for them is to increase appointment requests. And so that's why there's a little rectangle on the side of the screen there, because the hope is that you go to the blog, you get the information you need, you're impressed by it, you're engaged with it, and, maybe you decide, I too could be a patient at Mayo Clinic. I could see myself going to this facility for care, for treatment, for services. So that is that's an example of how content marketing works with a very well-known database and well-known website. And hopefully that helps underscore what the purpose of content marketing is, especially for a health company. Again, if you have questions about what I just shared, or any further examples you would like to see, or anything around again, what is health content marketing, or what types of health companies use health content marketing, feel free to ask in the comments or shoot me a message and I'll be happy to elaborate. Next week, again, Wednesday at 7:30, we'll be talking more about who is involved in the health content writing process, right? And as a spoiler, when I talk about health content marketing, it's typically to other health professionals, because I want other healthcare providers, other health professionals to be the ones who are creating this content. And so next week, we're going to be talking about what the role of healthcare providers and health professionals is in the creation of health content, and what we can bring to the table, which, if you have been trying to get into health content marketing as a health professional, I think will be really informative for you, because we'll be talking a little bit about how we can leverage our skills as healthcare providers to partner with these organizations who are creating health content. So I will see you all next week, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.